Hello there, I'm Boo, or Jamie, and I like drawing, maximizing my hours in all the Pokemon games to find shinies, and I like to complain about lore in World of Warcraft. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. After we just tamed the incredible amount of 2 spirit beasts and quested over 2 hours for that one, I have another little tip that is maybe handy for a few of you. Because now we're level 60, or 61 in my case, because I might have spent 20 more minutes in Hyjal before I got yoinked out of Chromie time walking to gather a few more obsidian deposits. Now that we're level 60/61, we can go to the Dragon Isles, of course. But in my state, I would not recommend that because I'm item level 182, and that is fairly below the item level that is probably recommendable for the Dragon Isles. So one of the first things that you can do is if you have a little bit of gold to spare, I don't think it's much, or if you just have a leatherer or a tailor or a blacksmith, you can make yourself some armor that is variable on level 61, and it's pretty high on item level. Like you can see, this is 319, this is the highest it can be. Sadly, those are just 4 pieces that you can make in total. You can make a chest and shoes and bracers, and if you also have a tailor, you can also make yourself a cloak. But like I said, you can also buy all of these things in the auction house. And it's safe to say that we will wear these for quite some time, so I'm also going to enchant them. The enchantments are also pretty cheap at the auction house. And after we enchanted them, we are actually going to a beautiful expansion that is called the Shadowlands. It's very important that you only do this once you're out of time walking, because apparently if you do Shadowlands and time walking, they force you to do the entire questline again and you can't skip, so that's fun. But once you hit level 60 or 61, you can just go to Whitemane, and as long as you've quested the Shadowlands once, you can just tell her that you want to skip the entire intro quest in the mall, and that's exactly what we want to do. And now that we have arrived in Oribos and we get frozen in place by Fate Scribe Rotal, we're going to talk to him and we're going to tell him that we're ready to choose our threads. And what we want to do is we want to choose the threads of fate, because now we just skip the entire storyline and we can choose our covenants. And this is where the magic begins. Also, so these NPCs stop talking into my talking, I'm gonna disable dialogue. Here we are going to choose a covenant, and it doesn't really matter which covenant you choose. You can choose whichever you like. I am actually going for Necrolord because I like the aesthetic and it's a fairly short introduction questline. Now we choose this, report to Mavix. You can also already skip all of this. And now what we're gonna do is we're going to complete this quest, and before you go anywhere, you're going to run over here, click the teleporter, and now you're upstairs. But we're not following the quest line just yet. We're going to Audara, Heirloom Broker, because this Heirloom Broker also sells Broker Mark of Distinction. And of these ones, you want 4. Now that we have these, we're gonna go back to where we can choose our covenant. And now, right now we're in the Maldraxian covenant with the Necrolots. So we're gonna use this item and bam, we're gonna jump right to Renown 60. And there's gonna be a lot of stuff in our inventory very shortly. There you go. Now, next we're gonna go to General Raven and tell him that we wanna join the vent here. And then we're also gonna use a Broker Mark of Distinction. Now we're gonna go to Homegirl Lady Moonberry, join the Nightfay Covenant, and once again use our Broker Mark, throw Wild Spirits onto the ground for good measure. I miss you. And now we're gonna join the Kyrian and use our Mark of Distinction one last time. And now, before you forget it, join back to the covenant that you initially chose or that you want to go to in general. And don't forget to pick up the quest again, because funny little thing, if you switch covenants, you always lose all the quests that you have for a specific covenant. And now that we have taken the seat, we are actually going to do that. Now we're gonna talk to him and he will fly us to the Bleak Redoubt. And while we're on the flying mount, we're gonna delete all these things that we now have double and triple in our inventory. Not all of them though. We're gonna delete all the mounts that we can't use and we can't sell for some stupid reason for 1 copper, and the ensembles. And once we're done with all of that, our inventory is a little bit less filled up to the top. And now we're gonna follow our quest line and go up here and talk to Draka. And she's absolutely stoked that we chose the Necrolords because she always knew that we would. And while we're doing that, we're also learning all the different covenant papers. You can already see we have a few legendaries. Now in our inventory we have experience for followers that we're gonna hold on to for now. And we also, and this is the important part, have 1000 NMR per covenant, which means we are now 4000 NMR heavy. And this is exactly what we want. So first we're gonna skip through this a little bit. Hold up our cool sword that we will never get any form of mogging for, and talk to the Primus, which is also gonna be so epic and so cool. And now that we've done all these very dramatic things, we're going back to Draka, and we're going to skip the campaign chapter. These quests obviously look different depending on your covenant, but they are all the same. Like in every covenant, you're gonna have to do the introduction quest, then you can skip the introduction to the order hall itself, and then you can have your first soulbind and just click yourself through. Now we get the High Lord calls, which means that we've done it, but what we do now is we're going to throw all our anima into the sanctum. And now, tada, we have 4000 anima. Obviously, with this anima, you can do whatever you want. We have a very certain purpose to do with that, and for that we're gonna go back to Oribos. And now, just if you want to clean up your stuff, which means that you don't have these legendary things in your inventory, obviously you can destroy them. I just don't like to do that. So what you can do is you hand in this quest with Bolvar, and then you tell him that you already know your way through Torghast, and then you also immediately skip to Korthia, and then you can tell him, yeah, I want to skip to Korthia, and now you also have Korthia unlocked. Once you've played Shadowlands through once, it's just a lot of skip this stuff buttons, and that is making Shadowlands a lot more enjoyable. But now, after we've done all that, we can finally do what we wanted to do from the get-go, which is go here to this very golden portal and travel to Zereth Mortis. And in Zereth Mortis, you want to go here to Haven, and in Haven you have Hadya, and Hadya will sell you 226 gear, and all you need for that is a bunch of anima. Now, with 4000 anima, you can't buy everything, but it will already give you a little edge, especially if you already have the 4 other items that I showed you. So what I usually do is I buy a weapon, I also buy a helm, I buy legs and shoulders, and that's pretty much it. And obviously you can spend your entire anima here, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, this is how you get quickly a lot of gear to make your start into the Dragon Isles a little bit more enjoyable, especially if you leveled like me and you don't have the best gear once you hit level 60 or 61. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye bye!